Welcome back to another tutorial on TinkerCAD. So you've all successfully by now would have drawn at least one maze, and the next step is of course to add a base to it, your maze. So what we're going to simply do is select the outer walls of our maze and make a copy. So I'm going to make a copy up here, so duplicate and repeat, or Control D on your keyboard. And then what I'm going to do is you need to know how far you're moving this. I want to move it 10 spaces at least. So with a right key on a keyboard, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we can make it even more than that, but a minimum of 10. So I'm going to add another 5. Let's make it 15. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the reason I've done that is, if you remember when we first created our outer wall, we grouped it and we had two parts to it. So what we're going to do now, and I'll just remove the arrow there from that shape to tuck that away, I'm going to come up here to this icon, which will ungroup those two original shapes. So remember we had the hole and the original square. So what I'm going to do is click on that now, and you'll see it's got them selected still but not grouped. Now if I click away from that, we actually have those two objects. I want to select the inner one, which is the hole, and just simply remove it. Now I've got a shape which is 6 millimeters high and 100 millimeters wide and 100 millimeters deep. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to front view of this front view, and it's not responding for some reason, so let's turn that. And okay, if that happens to you, come up here and click on the home, and then you should be able to see these views again. We'll click on front now. Now you can see that this base that we're trying to create for this maze is the same height as the walls, and we need to adjust that. So I'm going to adjust that now to 1.5 millimeters and then press enter. And now of course it's lower, so it's not going to be as high as those walls. And if I go back to the top view again, you'll see that you can now see quite clearly the other walls. What we need to do now is move it back into position, and I've moved it over now 20, so I'm going to put it back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's now in position, and if I go and rotate this, you can see the full effect of that 3D maze. So that's the easiest way that I have found to add your base to this. The base has a thickness, if I go back to the front view, has a thickness of 1.5 and the walls are 6, so that leaves a depth of those walls now of 6 minus 1.5 is 4.5 millimeters. The ball bearing should be 3.5 millimeters, so you've got plenty of room there for movement. So I'll go back to top view again, and that's how you add the base to your maze. And of course if you're doing a round maze, the same applies. So if you got that far, well done. Okay, so we're getting to a real fun part now. What we want to do is add some maybe our initials or something that will represent our muru in some way or shape or form. I'm going to show you a really sneaky way of doing this, of bringing in an image from outside of TinkerCAD. So first of all, I'm going to open up Microsoft Word, and I've typed a character here, a letter here, which is, let me just show you in Calibri, is the capital letter F. So I've typed in Word a capital letter F, and then I've just changed the font on that to Webdings. So just as you've got Arial and all these other fonts, there's a really fun one called Webdings, and I found this character to want to add. Now just did a quick Google search on fonts, Webding fonts, and so this is a image that you can search for on Google, And you can see there's some different fonts there: Webdings, Wingdings, Wingdings 2 and Wingdings 3, and there's all these different characters, and there's some interesting ones, for instance the little house there, that you might like to incorporate. Now this is just one way of doing this, but you can get other images as well and apply the same process. So I'm using a character, but you can get images open. Anyway, getting back to this, so now I've got an image that I want. I'm going to use a screen capture technique. So I'm going to use, in this case, because I'm using a Windows machine, I'm going to use the snipping tool. Now if you're using a Mac, you'll have another way of doing screen captures, but this is the one I'm going to use. So I'm going to screen capture that now. I've got it the size that I want, so I made it size 36. And I need to save that, so I'm going to save it just to my desktop in this instance. So scrolling down here and choose my desktop. Where do I put it? My desktop, there we go, my desktop, and I'll call it building. That will do for this one. And I need to now go to a website which will convert this, see how I saved it there as a PNG type file. I need to convert that so that TinkerCAD can read it and use it. So I'm going over to a website, and that website is called Online Convert. So the quickest way to get to that is just type into your Google Online Convert and then go to the website. Now we want to convert an image, so we choose what format we're going to convert to. We're going to convert it to, in this case, an SVG file. So you need to image convert, and it's going to take to this web page here where we need to drop the files in. So I'm going to go to choose files, and I'm going to upload it from my desktop. There is the file there, and click open. So it's a very easy website to use, this one. And then we start the conversion, and it's converting it for us. It's done it already, but it's a pretty small file, so it didn't take very long. Now I need to download it, so over here click on the download. Remember, you can rewind this video at any time if you lose track. Now it's downloaded it for me over here. I clicked on that twice, so I'm going to go to that file location. So in your Mac, you would go to Finder. I'm going to go Show in Folder. So I've got it sitting outside the screen at the moment. Let's get back to my project, and the next step is to then import that file. So from TinkerCAD, top right hand corner, import 3D files. So click on import, and I can drag that file in and click on import. Now you might do something different. You could do your signature, for example, and see how it comes in quite large, so it will need to be resized. And an easy way to do that, if you hold the shift key down on your keyboard while you drag, that's going to maintain its shape. And then let's just undo that. Let's just do minute. I need to move that into place, and again the easiest way to do that is to move it without arrow keys. I'm going to move to front view, and you can see that it's not very high because it was only a 2D image. So clicking on that, we're going to resize that and make it at least 6. Probably 6 would be a good height, so it's the same as the walls. And then go to the top. Again, if you're losing track, just rewind the video and bring it into the middle. Now I want to line it up. There we go. And now I have an image in the center of my maze. There we go. So let's go back to how I did that. I started in Microsoft Word, and I actually used a font. So I typed the letter. The letter was, what was it, an F, a capital F. I made it larger, and I changed it to a Webdings. And we can look at all the different characters that you can do that way. You might prefer to use another font and type your the letters, or type your name. So I could change that font to, for example, Stella TD for my initials, and I could go through the same process.